Welcome, listeners, to Thrice, a horror movie podcast brought to you by Sinister Siblings, where we review a horror movie not once, not twice, but thrice, to see what comes from repeat viewings and share our thoughts with you, our dear listeners. As always, I'm Adam. Joining me in no particular order are my lovely friends, family and accomplices Mark.
Hello.
And Tracy.
Hello.
And this episode, it's 1977. We're settling in on the couch with our TV dinners. Night Owls with Jack Delroy is about to be on TV because we're doing Late Night with the Devil. Part 3.
Yes.
Part 3. Part 3, people.
Do I get a stable table to have with my TV dinner?
Absolutely. Dad's
Yeah.
smoking. He's
Yes.
going to beat the missus later.
Oh,
wow.
Adam, Jesus.
It's 1977.
Well, that just means drinking and smoking.
Ah, true. Yeah, you're right. Too
I
far,
don't know
maybe.
Yeah, wind that back.
Yes, and Late Night with the Devil also has themes of past trauma. So,
Yes, yes.
so it's part 3, so if you've listened this far, you've probably got a reasonable idea how the podcast operates. But just for a quick recap, so we're doing episode 3 now. So episode 1 was based just off our initial impressions, our own personal views of the film. Episode 2 was then informed with what we'd learnt from discussing it with each other, as well as, I guess, what you pick up from the trailer and that sort of thing. And then this third episode now we're going in with some external influence as well. So you might recall from the last episode we had some interactions with the directors. And so, yeah, so we're bringing in some external reviews and things as well this time round.
Nice.
As always, be warned, plenty of spoilers are here, but if you are watching episode 3, listening to episode 3, odds are you're probably across what's happened in the film. But yes, be aware, lots of spoilers ahead. But just to recap the film now, Tracy, tell us a little bit about Late Night with the Devil.
Okay, so Late Night with the Devil was released back in April 2024 in Australia. And it's an independent supernatural horror film, written, directed and edited by Colin and Cameron Cairns. It incorporates elements of found footage and documentary filmmaking. The film follows the events of a late night talk show episode aired on the night of Halloween, 1977, during which the host attempts to boost ratings by inviting an allegedly possessed girl onto the show. So, this was our third round with Late Night with the Devil.
Twas.
Yes. What did you
You
think?
could almost say it was a rerun.
Yes. there you
Yes,
go.
yes.
There's a lot of TV puns to be had.
Yes.
Indeed. So, Adam,
Yes.
what did you think third time round?
Yeah, it's tough when you,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's tough. You always want to see, is it still, did I still enjoy it after watching it 3 times, in broad strokes, after the magic's worn off and you kind of feel like you know the movie pretty well, and any sort of twists or turns or surprises that are baked in have been revealed to you? Do you still think it holds up as an entertaining watch? And I would say yes. Yes, it does. Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
I really liked it. I still think that sort of opening pre-credits montage
Yeah.
with the narration from Michael Ironside, that's really strong. I really like just the look of that whole element, even just the way it's framed, everything there. You know, even after watching it again the other night, I was like, maybe I'll just watch that first bit again because I really enjoyed that first bit. I quite liked... one of the things I enjoy about the way we do this is you do get on the peripheral a little bit because they become characters you are familiar with and you know the story beats. And so you're not really following along to catch the story anymore. You're now having a... Because I know we're watching it a third time, primarily for the podcast. We're not just deciding to watch movies multiple times. So you do start having
Because that would be weird.
Well,
Yes.
not so much weird. People have their favourite movies, but
Well,
there's
it's true.
lots of movies to watch. So having a closer look, I think, how to phrase, I guess I'm spoiling it for myself because you know what's coming, so you try and see where have they planted the starting points. Are there things you can see that you're only going to pick up on repeat viewings because you'll know what's coming? And I think there were some interesting things, so I'm keen to have a bit of a chat about all of those. But Tracy, first of all, what did you think third time round?
Yeah, I agree with you both. It still holds up. It's on the third viewing. It's still a great film. Like, it's not one of those ones where you're sort of left going, oh God, how much more time in this? And, you know, oh, I've seen this before. It was, even though it was familiar, it's such a quality production, I think, as well. There's so many different kind of layers and so much going on, and just visually it's really interactive and engaging. Like, I still love in between, you know, where they've got the ad breaks and where they have like sort of like, we'll be back soon and returning, and they've got all these great graphics and things from, you know, inspired by the 70s. Yeah, just the whole thing, it still really hangs together really well. And I think also a good aspect of this film is it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like 90 minutes. You go in and out. And I really love how it also basically happens in real time. So you've got like a 60-minute, you know, TV show that you're watching, and with a little bit of, you know, something on either side. And I enjoy that too.
I'm just thinking now, actually, the format of the movie is a lost episode of a late night TV talk show, which kind of lends itself to that sort of one-eyed background viewing that might come with watching it a third time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No, but I sort of found this time, and I don't know, perhaps we've mentioned it before, I'm not sure, but I did notice one real thing that I hadn't spotted before, and that was, so Jack, the host of the show, he takes some time off after his wife dies, and then when he comes back, they showed the cover of a magazine that, you know, is like, I don't know, Variety or TV Tonight, whatever it is, and it says, you know, Jack's back, and it's got a picture of him, and then it has, I don't know if you guys saw it, maybe I'm going over old ground, but it has movie of the week, and the movie of the week is called Hail Abraxas.
Oh.
No, I didn't pick that up.
And I hadn't seen it before, and I was just like, oh, there you go, that's a bit
clever.
sneaky.
No, even after 3 viewings, I didn't pick that one up, so good catch.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was my, you know, I was like, excellent.
That is the fun bit too about watching these movies repeatedly, because sort of the second and third viewings were normally on streaming or physical media where you can pause and kind of check some things out. So one thing, let me put a question to you guys. So towards the end, when things are going a little bit dreamy, and Jack's, and look, to be honest, we've talked about this before, the film loses its format because suddenly we're not watching an episode anymore, we're somehow revisiting Jack's memories.
Yeah.
So we take this narrative jump that doesn't really get explained, but anyway. But there's a bit where they revisit when he was signing his contract, the big contract that was expiring on Halloween. And the smarmy, stereotypical TV exec makes the comment that Jack Delroy's greatest sacrifice is yet to come.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, and I wanted to see what you guys think. What was Jack's greatest sacrifice? Was the greatest sacrifice his wife Minnie? Or was it Lily?
Yeah.
What do you think was the greater sacrifice? Because with Minnie, we assume that she died for his success.
Absolutely.
Yes.
However,
Without a doubt.
that's somewhat a secret. The people in the Grove may know,
Yeah.
but the broader public,
No.
they sort of worship him for that. They hold him up as a hero and a champion for powering through that.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're left at the end of the film to believe, with the death of Lily, that it's all come down. So, which one though? But he doesn't know Lily, and he was married to Minnie. So, where do you think? What was his greatest sacrifice?
Well, I think emotionally it's definitely his wife, because I don't think he realised that he was going to lose her as part of this whole deal. I think it was a complete surprise and shock to him, and I think he genuinely cared about her, and it was a genuine, sadness and grief when he lost her. But potentially, I mean, when he kills Lily, that is the moment that does catapult him into infamy and history. That moment is what changes everything for Jack Delroy. Is because like they say, no one is, I can't remember if it was Lily or somebody else, you're going to be famous after this.
That was Lily, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the moment, the greatest sacrifice, because basically he loses everything. Everything at that moment for that success. So, yeah, to me,
but he gets so really, he is the greatest sacrifice, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I think I picked up this time, having a look at it, the episode they show the clip from the episode where his wife is on there just before she passes, and David, I always get his name wrong. I apologize, David. David Dalmatian.
Yes, he's got an unusual.
Oh yeah, Dalmatian. Yep.
Yeah. So but he plays it so beautifully because he looks at Minnie and he plays it really well. You get this feeling that he's twigged. He's actually put the pieces together and gone, she's sick. That's what's happened. This is where he's connected the dots and gone, oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, you think that's when he realizes?
I reckon there's a moment that he realizes you can see he's looked at her like, I can't believe this is happening. And then it's almost switches to, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then that becomes the interesting point because he then continues.
Yeah.
Well, because he was still 1 point short of winning.
Mm.
So it wasn't quite enough. He had to sacrifice more.
Mm.
Actually, that's really it. He had to sacrifice more.
Yeah, wasn't quite enough.
And I know you brought this up last time round, Adam, just at the very end when it has the end transmissions credit.
Yeah.
And then it flips over to say, and so it is done.
Yep.
I did notice this time round that when they're showing the clip from like the French documentary about Xander Darbo, that he says in that clip, and so it is done as well. Which, because I know we talked about what we were going to look for this time, and I was saying I wanted to look at Lily's role more deeply. Because I don't think Lily was innocent in this. I think Lily was planted there. I think the whole show was leading through Jack's whole process was to get to that point.
Yep.
And that was the whole ritual. And because I know they were talking about the Abraxas cult sacrificing children. And I think that's what this was. I think they actually brought Lily, they had Lily survive that fire to be that sacrifice that Jack would make to close that circle, if you will. And that's why I think the film ends then with that text saying, and so it is done. Like that's the cult tying it all together.
That's sort of like, I think in our last chat, that was something I think I kind of realised about her, but I think you've said it beautifully there in that whole thing was a big ritual. So I think you've really laid it out perfectly. I think that's exactly right.
That is the lens that I was going to be looking at it through too. Her as a plant, as a grove plant, not an innocent sort of vessel for Braxis.
Yeah.
And did you feel that when you watched it again? Did you think that Lily wasn't innocent?
I'm still undecided. I guess it's an interesting interpretation of it. Yeah, the idea, but I mean the fire, like they deliberately caused the fire.
Yeah.
And
well, they created the illusion at the end for Jack to think he was putting his wife out of her misery.
Yes.
And instead he stabbed Lily.
Yeah. But there's
so they got to that point, and I guess they needed to create a certain level of mayhem.
Yeah.
Well, they did because Lily started shooting lightning out of herself. So obviously they built this up. But they've obviously put Mr. Wriggles in her for that.
Absolutely. Like that was the thing. That was the reason whether it was for Jack or not, there was a reason why she survived that fire. And that was because she had to do something else. She was still playing a part in whatever master plan was going on behind the scenes.
Well, so who was the agent behind her surviving the fire? Braxis? Or
Abraxas?
Well,
maybe,
you might say that Xander Diabo.
Yeah. Maybe she was never really in danger. Maybe she was hiding out in the back garden when it went up. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because we're sort of led to believe that Xander was kind of part of the Grove as well.
Well, I think we see him there, don't we?
But I'm not sure if we see him in the later part in Jack's flashbacks and whether at that point Jack's a reliable protagonist. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's
which
also
again
mentioned,
is why it makes me feel like he killed them all. He didn't, but the way that's cut just makes it seem like.
But it's also mentioned that Abraxas, when he's talking through Lily to Jack, he's like, "I saw you back in the tall trees, like we met before in the tall." So I think definitely when he was at the Grove and he was in the tall trees, definitely did a bit of a ritual for his success and prayed to the god Abraxas. 100%. Well, god Abraxas, demon Abraxas.
Probably the devil.
The devil. So yes, there was definitely.
Be a different spin if the film was called like Camping with the Devil.
Camping with the Devil.
It would be a bit of a retreat.
Wellness retreat.
Like your Lampoons, the Camping with the Devil.
National Lampoon's Retreat with the Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think she was definitely in on it. But, and I like that whole, so it is done. Because I think, isn't that almost like a witchcrafty term as well, like when you've done a spell or something, so mote it be.
Yeah, so I think that was kind of the culmination to go, Jack's now fulfilled his contract and we've fulfilled our part of that contract.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, like probably when he's sitting and he realises when he's talking to his wife and realises, oh, okay, there's no going back. You've signed this contract, you have to fulfill it. So, yeah, you have to sort of keep going. So I guess, that probably does start leading us to have you got another question?
I do have one other question, because if we're viewing the film through the lens that the whole thing was sort of orchestrated to get to a certain purpose, was Christou a real medium or a fraud?
No, he was real. Well, if it was a fraud, what, do you think he was planted as part of the Grove
I'm wondering, like you see different things in films where they'll go, oh, I never knew I could do magic and suddenly I can do a spell or something like that, and they surprise themselves, because the impression we get, or the impression I got from watching it again, was initially you sort of have the jokey one where he fails really badly and it's like, oh, it's my ex-wife's maiden name.
What was the go with that guy? He's just shaming him.
Well, I think the idea was it was showing that Jack didn't really take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because obviously Jack, throughout the show, eventually starts getting more and more concerned about the reality of it.
Yeah.
So I think that initially it's very light to go, well, he seems like a pretty hokey cruise show, like cruise ship kind of medium. And then even the second bit where he's talking to the mother and daughter and he seems to be on the money, we then have that part where Carmichael later is like, oh, so you filled in a questionnaire and, oh, that lady was asking you some questions, sort of suggesting that they'd helped Christou again.
Yeah.
So I wonder then whether the energy and Mr. Wriggles and things is then what actually suddenly made Christou a real medium, and that's why he couldn't cope with it all.
No, I think that was like one out of the box. I don't think, well, for Christou at least, I think he was a real medium, and that was just sort of telegraphing, well, to Jack and us, the audience, that there's a demon, something beyond their control at play,
Something
a
unfriendly.
powerful spirit, yeah.
As opposed to like little Eddie going, I love you, Mummy.
Yeah, that's
Don't forget
right.
Papa, the teddy bear.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to diminish people's memories of loved ones.
Yes. But just something, something uncontrollable and beyond even an empath like Christou's understanding.
Yeah, because I suppose they didn't cope well, did he? He kind of spouted, as Carmichael said it.
Yeah.
And it has to be said, as much as I quite like the effects and everything, the spouting effect I thought was a little bit weak. I thought it looked a little bit like they've just coloured in a line on the film. It didn't quite, but anyway.
Any kind of vomit I'm not there for, so I'm looking away when there's vomit. I'm not really paying that much attention. But, yes.
Yeah, which I guess could lead into, speaking of vomit,
yes,
recommendations, I guess?
Yes, I know where you're going with that.
Or unless everyone has like any sort of...
well, I do have a little bit of trivia I thought I might throw in.
Yes.
Which was, I was reading an interview with David Dalmastian in Fangoria from a little while back. And it was just interesting, just a little bit of trivia about how he actually got the job. So the question was put to him, is it true that you were cast in this movie based on an article you wrote for Fangoria? And David said, yes, it's very true. I've been collecting Fangoria for years, as an adult with pride, but in secret as a kid, because most horror was frowned upon in my very religious household. So I snuck my horror fixes late at night watching Crematia Mortem, our local horror show in Kansas. I lost my mother during the pandemic and was thinking a lot about the safe space that these horror hosts provided me. They would bring me in and out of these scary movies that I wanted to watch so badly, but that also scared me. And then thinking about the few times I did watch a scary movie with my mum and the connection we had from that. And then Phil Noble Jr. gave me the opportunity to write about that for Fangoria, talk about surreal. And then Colin and Cameron down in Australia read that article and it made them want to pitch me the project. So they sent me the script and as soon as I opened it, I was hooked. So it was actually something that came from, I suppose, David's personal love for late night TV and
horror.
and horror hosts and things, and the Aussie boys down here picked up on that.
Yeah.
So big tick for Fangoria.
Yes, we love our friends at Fangoria.
I've been a happy subscriber for many, many years to Fangoria. So yeah, That's pretty cool.
It
Yeah.
is very cool.
Now, did you want me to give some box office numbers now before we do recommendations? Such or save that?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, as Tracy mentioned, it opened here in April in 2024. So, it actually all up played for... It was only a limited release here in Australia, in so much as that it only opened on 82 screens, which is quite a small opening.
Yeah.
But, however, it did have a little bit of longevity. It actually did play for 16 weeks around the country,
Here.
around Australia,
Yeah.
and ended up grossing just a smidge over $620,000. So, pretty good for a film that didn't have a huge exposure.
I wonder if that's a longer run than it was in America, say, because they're Australian directors. And it was shot here in Victoria.
That's quite possible. Question without notice makes it hard for me to answer that for you.
That's
But yes,
okay.
I'll believe you.
No, I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying
It's quite possible it might have been a longer showing here. So yeah, so actually I think that's pretty good for the little. It ended up, So I said it's about 620,000. So in 16 weeks. So what's that? Loosely 4 months it played in the cinemas. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to speculate that it probably made money, I guess.
I would think it did because it did play. It did started off at the film festivals the previous year. I think you were saying, Tracy, it premiered at South by Southwest.
Yeah, South by Southwest, yeah.
So I think it had a lot of buzz going into it, and I think it's had quite a lot of legs. I think, don't quote me, I don't think it might be through Neon, I think, and I think it was quite a big release for them. So I think it's done really well.
Or was it Shudder? It was on Shudder, was it? Shudder.
No, I don't think it was Shudder.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we like to talk about recommendations or inspirations for movies in the third episode.
Yes.
And one of the big ones that I read somewhere, I think it was from the directors themselves, was the movie Network from 1976, starring Faye Dunaway, William Holden, and Peter Finch. And we actually watched that a little bit last week. And yeah, you can definitely see it stylistically. More that than anything, but also that whole intro at the start.
Yes.
Where Michael Ironside's like, Jack Delroy was a leading anchorman, with an 80% share of viewership, blah, 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 blah. That's all straight out of Network.
Straight out.
Laying down, I can't remember the character's name, but laying down that character in Network's whole story arc and fall from grace and how he's about to be fired and this is his last chance and da-da-da-da. So you can really see the influence from Network there.
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yes, I highly recommend Network. It's a very cool, kind of gritty 70s movie. Yeah. And it's got a lot to say about media saturation. Yeah. And exploitation.
Very cool.
Indeed. I think some recommendations from the 70s that Late Night with the Devil kind of brings to mind for me. Well, to my mind, pretty obvious. I mean, you've got The Exorcist, which has got a possessed girl. There's also vomit in that.
Yeah.
So you got Linda Blair, like in one of the most stellar films. And then another personal favourite, if you're talking in terms of...
You're not going to try and relate this to Jaws somehow, are you?
Probably could, given a chance. But I'm going to relate it to one of my other personal favourites, The Omen. Because if we're talking about secret machinations and societies and things going on behind the scenes, working together to forge sort of new worlds or bring into place a whole new system or a sacrifice contract, The Omen. Because in that, Damien is brought forth to be the Antichrist. So he's placed with William Thorne, who's a diplomat. And so you've kind of got the same kind of thing, this unwritten contract, these secret behind closed doors sort of, well, shenanigans isn't the right word, but all of these sort of political and secretive things going on behind closed doors to make the rich and powerful achieve their aims. And, of course, it's a horror film. And it's got a sort of demonic child in it, so what more do you want? And also the classic question, which we were sort of talking about in terms of Lily, but obviously in The Omen you've got Damien. Did Damien know that he was the son of the devil? Of course he did.
You think?
But lots of people think there's debate. Like he was this poor innocent child. No, he wasn't. He was in on it.
I don't know, just getting to spoiler territory here for the Omen. But
Yeah.
Well,
Like when
no,
the
well,
house-
there's spoilers. We say there's
when
spoilers.
the housekeeper lady's all like, I'll look after you, my little one. And he's like,
Yeah.
winky, winky.
It's all for you,
Yeah,
Damien.
you.
It's all for you. So yeah, but that does that. I was like, I'm like drawing some long bows there, but it does. Rich, powerful people doing secret stuff behind closed doors with the devil to get what they want.
Yes.
It's actually a really great connection that the directors made with that time frame, because coming out of the sort of post-Vietnam War era, the post-Watergate era, into that 70s period, the world was very distrusting. And so it was a breeding ground for films about secret societies, and, whether it was films like The China Syndrome, about keeping secrets from the public, or The Stepford Wives, which was, yet again, a secret men's society kind of trying to change the world to suit their own purposes. It was a very paranoid kind of era, and I think the directors really nailed it for that,
Yeah.
because
No,
it fits right into that. Like, if you didn't know better, you could think that film was made back then.
Oh, yeah.
You could think it was made in the 80s.
I think that's one of its strengths, is because it's so authentic and true to its time. I thought another film, which is like kicking it to the 90s, was The Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino. Because, again, like,
Yes.
well, poor Keanu. Who's also very, sort of interested in horror himself. But anyway, I digress. Poor Keanu. He, goes thinking, I'm going to be this great lawyer, this great advocate, and then finds out that, he's working for the devil. So, again, another link that you might find interesting. You might want to watch, because it's also got Keanu Reeves in it. I'm not sure I mentioned that before. Keanu Reeves.
Yes,
I have another recommendation.
please.
The scene toward the end, so we're out of the studio now. Jack's wigging out. He's all having flashbacks to his times in the Grove, and he's got to pay his dues. He's got to pay the owl man. What was his name?
Oh, man.
The
It
winged
was
man.
the Feather Man.
The feather man. He's got to pay the feather man, and they're like,
Sugar Man.
"Caca, caca." They're all having like
Yeah,
this satanic,
yeah.
and I'm like, this reminds me of The Burbs, one of my favorite movies from childhood, starring Tom Hanks in an early role from 1989. Also starring Carrie Fisher and Corey Feldman.
Indeed.
The Burbs, because that's all about. There's a few links there. It's about satanic panic, and there's a great scene in that where he's actually having a nightmare that he's being sacrificed to the devil, and it just kind of reminded me of it. There's a strange, goofy humour to it, perhaps unintentional in Late Night with the Devil, but it brought it to mind nonetheless.
Oh, there's definitely a vein of humour that runs through Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a lightness.
Also, the book, Michelle Remembers, by Lawrence Pasdar. He's the guy that kind of kick-started the whole satanic panic thing.
I've been trying to find a copy of that book at a
Yeah.
half reasonable price.
Yeah,
No,
probably. No, I doubt
not
it.
happening.
Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah. So, yeah.
For those of you that don't know, that book is about... that was the first real big case of a psychologist helping someone recover forgotten memories of abuse as a child,
Yeah.
which I believe was then later debunked. But
Yeah.
it was a
Oh,
massive...
completely debunked, yeah.
It was a massive story at the time that people were suddenly convinced that they'd been abused themselves and they'd just forgotten about it.
Yeah. And that also did the talk show circuit as well. And actually, I think he was on Oprah, I think.
I think
Yeah,
you might
the
be
author.
right.
Yeah. And she bought right into it. So, yeah, Oprah Winfrey. Not the
Careful.
highbrow sort of, what would you even call her now?
She's
Influencer?
She's a queen.
She's more than that.
We
Yeah,
love
not the
her.
highbrow queen that she is now. She was once just
always
no more than a Phil Donahue.
What?
Yeah.
What's wrong with Phil Donahue?
Yeah. What's wrong with
Nothing.
Oprah? Nothing. Nothing wrong with
We
any
love
of them.
talk shows. Ricky Lee,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sally Jesse.
That's what I'm saying. Oprah was right there with him.
Jerry.
She's just risen to the top
Maury.
of the pile.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good, Adam.
Excellent. Some good recommendations in there. So let's just quickly run them off again. So just the actual film. What did you have, Chase?
I had The Devil's Advocate from the 90s, The Exorcist, The Omen.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam, what did you say?
I had Network from 1976 The Burbs from 1989, and also just quickly Videodrome, David Cronenberg. Yeah, for the special effects, they're very Cronenberg.
Ah, yes, true.
There is a bit of body horror in that. That's true. And the ones I sort of mentioned was the Stepford Wives, and I forget the other one I mentioned.
You had a couple of good ones.
I did.
So good we can't remember. But you can...
Because I winged it, I didn't write them down.
We can play it back.
but
Just rewind them. But yes.
you'll find them in the show notes. We'll pop them in. We'll put all of these recommendations in our show notes.
Good plan.
Yes. So...
Finally, I guess we're working round to how many phallic worms you're going to finally land upon. That's an image.
I don't want to land on any phallic worms.
Do we remember how many we gave it last time?
Yes.
Everybody had 8, I think.
8.
Yes.
8 phallic worms bursting from the eye.
And is this indicative of our final score?
This is all together.
All things considered.
This is all together when you're being interviewed on someone else's podcast and
Yes.
they say to you,
Yes.
what did you give Late Night with the Devil out of 10? You're going to say...
I will give it 7.5 phallic worms.
Chop one of those worms in half.
In half, yeah. I'm gonna sort of split the difference because I think there are
Split it like Lily's head.
going forward. Yeah, split it like Lily's head because going forward, there's probably going to be movies that I'm going to like more than this one, and I want to be able to give those movies an 8. I need some wiggle room, so it's still very good. You like that? Yes.
Or even
Mr. Wiggle Room. So
That sounds like a dodgy kid show.
Yes.
Comes to Mr. Wriggle Room.
that's it. Yes.
Oh my God. Not going
7.5
anywhere.
movie, 7.5 worms for me. I still think it's a really fun movie. It's got a great sort of 70s aesthetic to it. It's a cool story. Like Trace says, it's only 90 minutes. It doesn't overstay its welcome. All the performances are great. It's a good time. Yeah, Late Night with the Devil. 7.5.
Yeah. Look, I'm sticking with my 8. I really liked it. I'd be honest with you, if the opportunity popped up to watch it again next week for some reason, I'd happily sit down and watch it again.
What?
Yeah, I wouldn't probably choose it myself from the stack of films that I have at home, but if for some reason somebody else wanted to watch it, yeah, I'd watch it, absolutely. I'm really interested to see what the brothers come up with next. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the 8 for that. I think it's a very solid film.
Yeah, I think I'd probably just stay with my 8. Sort of like Mark says, probably not next week, but if it did sort of come across on television, or if somebody else was watching it, or I'd be quite happy to sort of be sat down with some popcorn and just sort of have it on while I was,
If it came on TV, if you were channel surfing, you'd been out that night and you came home and you were channel surfing and it was on, it would be perfect. The whole setup for that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Indeed. All right, so I
I
think
think that ties it up with a bow. I think we'll finish with a musical interlude or whatever they were going to do on the movie. Remember they were going to have the female singer at the end and then they cut her.
Oh, yeah.
Lady someone, I think it was, or whatever. Yeah. That would be a good way for us to finish. But
Soul singer.
yeah. Probably the luckiest person on the show in the end because she probably just went home.
She would have
Yeah,
died.
she was just hiding out the back. Just like,
stay away from that
I'm just going to go.
Yeah, they're like, well, if we're going home, I'll let you guys do whatever you're doing over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the end of episode 3 for us. That is the wrap. That's a wrap.
It is a wrap.
We'll call it there. You don't have to. I don't know. How do they wrap up movies normally?
Well,
Late Night with the Devil was filmed in front of a studio audience.
yes.
Yeah.
If, listeners, you would like to make a Faustian pact with us, what should they do, Tracy?
They can follow us on Facebook at Sinister Siblings, or, of course, on your platform of choice for listening to your podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, or other. Please remember to subscribe so you get an update as soon as we release a new episode, and also rate and review because that helps other people find us too.
Indeed. Well said.
All right.
On that note,
We'll say good night.
good night.
And it's good night from me.
But not for the devil.
It's good night from who?
And you. Bye-bye.
Bye.